Hello, hello. Welcome to another episode. Hello, hello. Welcome to another episode. Put that in the middle. Get on my phone. See if I'm live. See if it's all good. Let's see. Why is it not showing? Let's see. Go again. Oh, there we go. There we go. Damn, my hair is all messed up. I had it up. All right. Let's see. Ooh, let's fix this thing. Should we put it like this? Should we put it like that? Am I the only one that's here? Is the rest of my book club here? I don't know. Let's see. Better? Better. Let's see. Uh-oh. Can't see it. Can't see it. Let's see. There we go. Is that good? I think that looks good, right? Yo, what's up? Let's see. Maybe more this way. Let's do this way. Of course, my phone's gonna fall. And I'm all up close to the camera and sheesh. What's up, Lynn? How you doing? All right. So I needed this extra time to finish, because what I realized is that I had one less day because we kept pushing things back to Thursday. So I had one less day to finish this book. But now that I'm caught up, I should be good. I should be good. How's your week? Anything good happen? Let's see, do I need to be a little bit more centered, like right there? Yeah, that should be better. How was everything? Like that? Is that better? Maybe. Anything exciting? Anything cool? How's your week? How's your weekend? You do same boring stuff? Yeah, same here. Just a whole bunch of work. Lynn, were you here for the Reactor Con thing that we did? I think you were. Were you here? But I don't remember. I think I might have met you. I'm horrible with names, so if I did meet you and you said your name, oh, you missed it. Okay. Well, we volunteered, and I've continued volunteering. You know what? I just realized this isn't on me. Boom. That should look better. So I do that on the weekends, and we moved to a house, so I have to get better at keeping up with the lawn and stuff like that. But yeah. So how's I want Amina's not here, is she? Amina, you here or what? You here or what? Let me see. Let me go back to the chat. See if. Let me see. Well, you saw it, and Amina saw it. So yeah, I'll wait to talk about the book, cause very very interesting this book is. Hey, look. I just happen to have this right here because I haven't put it up yet. You want to see baby pictures? Baby Papi? Look. You got lots going on. Me too, but different stuff. I do have lots going on. I don't think the missus is a fan of how many things I got going on. But look, can y'all see that? These are pictures of mini me. Just happen to have it right here. I didn't plan this, by the way. Amina, you're here. Awesome. Let's see. I don't know if you saw it. Like I said, I'm a little delayed, but that's mini Papi right there. Little guy. Oh, you can't see the one on the top while I'm on a horse, but that's a good one. But yeah. So I also just found out today that I'm in charge of my basketball team. We like a group of guys got a basketball team together, and it's a little disorganized, and They say I'm the most organized, so they just put me in charge. So I've added that, and hopefully I can be a flag person for the Dallas Cowboys. I work with a guy that does it, and he's gonna try to get me in. So hopefully that'd be cool as a thing to say that I do. You know. Um. All right. So let's get to the book because we started off late. So let's get to it. Yeah, it's a sad time when I'm the most organized, right? Freaking late to book club and everything, and yeah. So, but again, everything should be caught up because I was reading a day like I've been a day behind because we've been pushing off till Thursday, but now we finished on a Wednesday. It, excuse me, I should be able to finish the rest of the book by next Wednesday. Um, I forgot a lot about this book from the first time you read it to now, Lynn, you're saying? Um, so I just want to get the elephant out of the room. It got pretty erotic there, didn't it? I felt like I was like, oh wow, okay. All right, that's very descriptive. That's very crazy. There's a lot to unpack. I finished so chapter 6 was long as hell. So there was so much craziness in chapter 6 that I was just like, what the heck? Um, where do you guys want to start? I guess I'll 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 say what stuck out to me, and I'll let you guys write so that way we can kind of get going. Yeah, Rika. Okay, cool. It upset me too. All right, good. Let's start there because that's exactly where I wanted to start. Hmm. Right? Like, there's always two sides to a story, and that type of stuff, like child abuse, like it's of course it doesn't sit well with people, right? But it's just something that I really despise exist in the world. Not saying, but she was an adult. Okay, that's all I have to say. That's all I have to say. She was an adult. Okay. Um, how? What do you guys think about that? I really felt like, yeah, I didn't know how to feel about that. There are, and I think that was what was so uncomfortable about the situation is that you hate to blame a victim on either side, right? If she was telling the truth or if she wasn't. And it puts you, the reader, into a very uncomfortable situation. I was so uncomfortable because in every single time that I've, heard a story like this in real life, I always take the child's side. And this is not a nonfiction book, right? So I know that the story isn't real. So she could 100% be telling the truth. Just my personal views were just very conflicting, where I wanted to believe and I wanted to yes and yes and yes, but like the realistic part of me just kept wanting to take over and be like, is there ever really an excuse? And it definitely the girl was the aggressor in the story, right? So you take it two ways, right? The first thing is you take it as if she's telling the truth, and that is so messed up, right? Like this manipulator of a child, this psychopath, ruined this whole lady's existence, ruined a marriage, ruined a mother daughter relationship, and didn't pay for it. And I think that's also so tragic, right? Um, And then so like I'll stop there and read what you guys said. So Amina, you said uh, Reiko has a problem with her students. First, her husband was her student, and now this little girl. Yeah, definitely take child's word. 99% are telling the truth. But I believed Reiko. Yeah, yeah, and that I think that maybe he did that on purpose, right? Because you're right. 99% of the time, you say believe the child. And then also, I think the age of the child was also very much where you can question because at 13 years old, like while there's still innocence there, there's a lot more ignorance as to how the world works, but still enough. A 13-year-old is fully capable of having malice and bad intentions and being manipulative. It's not so young of an age where you would say I would more than likely believe the child. It's a little bit older in age where you can see what um that she could have been manipulated, and how the book was saying, like how she was saying a little bit afterwards, where maybe there are some kind of like lesbian tendencies that she may have, and maybe like this was a time where it's like that was being thrown in her face at the same time of like being attacked, or whatever the right word is, by the child. But as a as a reader, you're reading words that are trying to paint a picture, and it did make me feel uncomfortable because it was like a child in a very erotic situation, and I felt more uncomfortable, and I kind of really wanted to get through it. But I think good books or art may cause you to be uncomfortable, if that makes any sense. um Let me see what you guys said. So Lynn says, but she should have stopped that before even got going. Should have had boundary instincts kick in. Yeah, and that's what it always comes down to, because okay, let's say everything she's saying is true and you believe her 100%, there still has to be some responsibility because you are the adult. Like, it's no excuse is ever like good enough, which I think played part played into the part of her like breaking down, right? It's such a God, this book is exhausting. It's exhausting. And so yeah, yeah, that was exhausting. But also, okay, so now you go back to Toru's and Naoko's, how do you pronounce her name? Naoko's relationship. And I'm encouraged because she seems to be in a better place. I'm excited for them as a couple because it seems like she has, those intentions. Yeah. Um, Lynn says his, it's so unlike his other works. Of the other little works that I've read, yes. Now, after you haven't read After the Quake, and I think that when you read that, you'll see. I don't know if he wrote that before or after this, but it's very similar. It's very similar. Hola ma, ¿cómo estás? In Naoko's story, she witnessed sister suicide. Too many. Yeah, in this whole book, I feel like there was a lot of suicides, and that's what gets me worried about Stormtrooper, because it's not just the fact that they're happening, but it's happening to people like just out of nowhere with no signs that these things are gonna happen. Um, um, yeah, too many of those. I'm sorry, I'm trying to read. So I mean, you say too many. Yeah, like there's a lot of deaths. So I just caught up, and Midori's a dad. God, like there's just so much. There's so much heartache in this book, you know. Wild sheep chase is crazy. Yeah, yeah. So wild sheep chase is crazy. Wild sheep. I'm not. I'm not remembering what that was. Um, I had forgotten. Lynn, you said I had forgotten the part about her sister and Midori's father. Yeah, yeah. So that's so now having heard the story of Naoko's uh, sister makes me, and then also getting to know more of the story about her and Kazuki. Now I understand why she was acting the way she was whenever her and Toru were hanging out. Like I was like, I get grief and all that, you know. But like I think I was maybe a little insensitive of saying like, you know, life does have to go on after a while. But now understanding her story, I can get why it's so hard for her. I mean, come on, she went through, you know, not just Kazuki, her boyfriend, but the fact that they met since they were young, and it was like he grew up with her. He she loved him, and I think the reason why her love was so deep because it wasn't just like a love that you would have for a like a spouse or a boyfriend or anything like a lover, but almost like a family member because ever since she could remember he was there, and you know, all of a sudden he's gone, and that was so sad. And then the fact that she had gone through that with her sister too, like now I understand why she's so broken. um oh, okay, okay. Wild cheap chase is crazy. Okay, well, it's gonna come around. You might be able to nominate that one. Amina says interesting how they dealt with their grief differently. Naoko's denial, Midori's fantasy of, oh yeah, of father in Uruguay, Toru just functioning at a distance. Yeah, you're right. Like, because well, and so Midori had her mom pass away beforehand, and didn't she just say now that she had like had other family members that passed away? Um, and again, like Naoku's dad had a brother who had taken his life too. Like, I don't know, you know, because this was not just written a long time ago, but it's also a whole different culture. And because Murakami does have such a crazy style in all his other books, I just don't know enough about the culture to understand what the author is putting in and what actually is part of the culture. But it's like there's a lot of death in these books. Like even Almond, which I think the author is Korean, right? But that had a lot of death and a lot of like messed up plots and stuff like that. Um, so Amina said Raiko isolating herself at hostel, and Lynn said Midori loves saying outrageous things and making people believe them. Yeah, like that's got to be like a self preserving thing, right? Like just making things up and lying because she like straight up lied about her dad, and not just lied but had like this intricate story about it, almost as like she had to believe that in order to be able to live with the fact that her father was just passing away, and 2 years earlier her mother had just passed away. So this book is so um it's messed up. I don't know how else to put this. um so far I enjoy this book. It has been a hard read, and I think it's because I've been behind mostly in this book. I'm not used to the words being so small, so I feel like I could get by it quicker than I actually can. I feel like out of all the books, this has put me through the most emotional like situations. It's like I read this book, I get tired because it's like it's very crazy things, like stuff that like just isn't normal, you know? Like I've enjoyed reading it. I've enjoyed the author's way of telling the story, the way he uses words and everything. But the out of all the stories, this has been um, the least enjoyable because of how serious the subject matter is, right? Like it's like not a lot of light-hearted moments, you know. And if there are light-hearted moments, it's like, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. That's just my opinion so far. Let me see what you guys are saying. Amina, you said parallel of Raiko telling her husband to just leave her and move on, just like Oko telling Toru the same thing. Yeah, like how much is Raiko really like influencing um, Naoko? And then also another thing that kind of just made me think about Raiko's story is the game that she played with Naoko about like the test or whatever, the lesbian test or whatever. Wouldn't that seem like a little manipulative in a way, you know? And then also the fact that like her rhetoric was very sexual at times with Toru being there, right? Like just little things that she would say that were very like, oh, what did you guys do? You know, like insinuating that they had done something. Um, you know, telling him to stay, and she was saying, "Oh, what? So y'all two can just do it, not this and this." And she was like very forward with him. Like that's what made me really suspicious about her in that story too. Is the fact that um, like Naoku is so much younger. She's what in her 1920s, and this girl was 31 when she had that experience with the 13-year-old. So that was what? How many years apart? 18 years apart. So now she's 36, and this person's about 19, which is right around, you know? So again, maybe I'm just biased because, you know, of my thoughts of the real world and how if like this was a real story, I would be very critical. I'm not gonna lie, like if this was real life, if I saw that on a show, like I would be very like skeptical about the story. That's just me being real. And so when you see that, and it's like again, how much is it Murakami's mind that two girls would just lay together that way to see if they're lesbians? Like I've never heard that ever happen. Maybe just because people don't talk to me about that stuff, so I could be open to that. Or how much is it that like Raiko could be kind of manipulative? I don't know. I'm just putting it out there. Oh, uh-oh. All right. I don't know how much I just, man. What was the last thing y'all heard? Let's see, this thing's still frozen. Okay, I'm back. Yeah, I'm back. I'm back. I'm sorry. I looked down. I was spitting too. I was saying some really good stuff. It was really amazing. You guys would have really been like, wow. Um, so it reminded me of visiting people in hospitals here in the 70s. Could hear you. Oh, so you could hear me, you just couldn't see me. Okay, good. Okay. So, yeah, I didn't. So, you're saying that you visited people in the hospitals in the 70s and that's what it reminded you of? That's what was it that reminded you like what was it that really like took you back to that time? Um but yeah. So that's my whole spiel on Ryukyu. You guys let me know what you guys think. Uh and yeah, let me know, Lynn, let me know what was it what was the part? I mean, outside of the fact that you might have visited somebody in the 70s at the hospital, like was there something that really took you back outside of just the fact that that's what you were reading? Same vibes, just the whole setting. I got you. I got you. My first memories of a hospital were in the early 2000s. One of my my best friend at the time's mom had been diagnosed with cancer, and she went through that at the hospital. Like she was at the hospital, and we'd just go visit her. So that's what that kind of reminded me of. Um, so let's see what else happened in the book that I want to get you guys. What do you guys think about the whole hospital itself? Like, um, it had the like where you couldn't really tell who the doctors and the students were. Quick side note: if this just cuts off, it's because I had really low battery, so we should be good, but we might not have too much longer. I'm a transplant recipient, so I'm tired of hospitals. Okay, now wow, well that's pretty cool. I won't ask you any questions because I don't know how open you are to talking about that. But um, so was this like a hard read once the hospital scene like came like, or were you indifferent about it? Or are you just tired of real hospitals, not just the ones in books? Um, Toru was great with Midori's father. Hostel seemed really unconventional. Yeah, definitely unconventional and a lot of weirdness, right? Like the doctor seemed really weird. And I have a conflicting, like a battling between thinking that Toru and Midori are an amazing couple and cheering for Tori and Naoko being in a relationship. I don't know. They both seem like really good stories, but now it's just kind of like, oh, which one's gonna win, right? Um, think Naoku's farm life is the better form of medicine. Yeah, yeah, just like keeping herself busy, accomplishing things. That is definitely, definitely. I think definitely it's working for her. The book is saying she's healthy, her health. She's healthy physically, and sometimes the body mirrors how healthy the mind is. I mean, where she still has breakdowns and stuff, but it doesn't seem to be like in a negative thing. It seems like she's like getting it out. He does love Naoko deeply. That's the hard part, right? Where it's like they have this deep connection in this like really crazy situation that happened to both of them. And he's like just so in love with her. It's such a great story. But then you kind of see the quirkiness of Midori and kind of like the seriousness of Toru and their whole relationship and how kind of playful it is. And it's like it's forming to be a really cool like love story if it leads to that. But you can definitely tell that Naoku's like, I mean, not Naoku, that Toru's all about Naoku. Um, there's so much with this book. There's so much. And what the hell happened to Stormtrooper? Come on. What happened to Stormtrooper? We need to figure it out. Midori takes him out of himself. Yeah. Yeah, you're right. Like where Naoku keeps him in that tragedy with Kazuki, yet has a real deep love for Naoko. Midori does take him out of that and allows him to like live life. Like where he came, like she even said, he had like a very somber look to him, and he said, "I need to get back in the groove with the people," and she helped him do that. Midori's folk music club and their revolution. Yeah, yeah, that was that was funny. That was funny. It's crazy because it's like, I don't know. I didn't really. I didn't go to college, and I definitely know about Marx, and you know I like history, so you know I looked into it in that type of way. But it's interesting seeing like how other countries, and also at this time, because like there was a lot of in the early 1900s, right, to like middle, especially like in the 60s, there was you know a lot of talk of communism and Marxist, and I mean there still is, but that's what I think about because I'm really into the Beatles, and the 60s was just like something I really looked into because I was really into the music. And so like yeah, like um the her folk people were just all talk, like you said. um Again, this could turn off at any moment. So I know that. Let's see. Okay, I'm at 8%. I'm at 8%. So you guys let me know if it cuts off. Y'all know why it did. Okay. But let's see. I have a lot of leftist literature, but I'm basically not political anymore at all. I think it gets exhausting, doesn't it? Like because I don't know. I don't know if we should go down that alley, but yeah, like from what so when I'm first generation American, right? And um like I mentioned this before, like I didn't understand government and some of the things, so I just kind of started looking into it. I got really into politics, not to pick a side. I came more of it as like I don't understand, and so I just kind of came in as studying. So I started looking at both sides, and I agree, it's all BS. Long story short, it's all BS. It is. I think I think as humans we try to define what right and wrong is, and it's like I'm starting to realize that maybe life isn't about right or wrong. I think it might be hard, maybe impossible to have an all right and an all right and an all wrong, not an alt right, an all right system or all wrong system. Maybe it's like a spectrum. But yeah, what do you I don't man, I don't know. I don't know. Um I really enjoyed the scenery. Okay, so outside of the content of the book, I really enjoyed the scenery that was painted to me when he was at the rehab center. I don't know what to call it, but what would you call it? You called it the hostel. At the hostel, I really liked the way he described the towns, the walking. Like I felt like I was really immersed in that scenery, and it's like that's the stuff that I like. Like I like going out into nature and walking and doing all that stuff. So I really love the way he painted that picture. It was a place that I felt like I actually lived in my mind by reading the book. That's how good I feel the penmanship was and the authorship was in this book. With that scene, I was really into it. Book is an interesting glimpse of Japanese history and how it shaped the culture at the time. Yeah, I love the journey from Tokyo to the middle of nowhere. Yeah, yeah, like how he mentioned like the bus and the road, and you can imagine like having to wait for one bus to come because it's like a one car, one lane road, right? And so like those small details, the I was really captured by how he described the moonlight coming into the room, you know, like that scenery. It really left an impression on me. Um, that's what I've really enjoyed about Haruki Murakami's storytelling, and I think maybe that's why it's hit me so hard. Like the content that he's talking about, but he does such a good job of immersing you in the story. Like I felt the best way I could describe how I feel about this story and how immersed I got into it is when I read Anna Karenina. Like I felt like I was really in that story. Uh, Powerful scene. That's why no one wants to leave there. Yeah, yeah. In a way too. Like I was kind of. I didn't want to leave there. Does that make sense? I was really enjoying those scenes. That time, like what he was saying, I was really enjoying it. Like in the story, when it was time for him to leave, I almost felt like I didn't want it to leave because it was the most interesting part of the book for me because of all the stories, because of how positive, like the story of Nyogu and Toru got, and you almost felt like if he'd stay longer, they'd live happily ever after, get married and have kids or whatever. Like it felt like it was like, you know, good things were gonna happen. The city would be drawing after that. Yeah, yeah, and he kind of went through that, right? Like where it's like he couldn't really get it after a while, like well after right after until Midori started coming around and getting him used to it. But let me check the battery one more time. All right. Oh, it's not going down that fast. All right, I think we'll be able to finish up here soon. Um, but yeah, hey, look. So we got a few people in here. This is the book club. If you want to know what the hell we're talking about, join the book club. You know, I got to go back and retitle the other live that we did so people know what we were. But this is the second part of the 3-part series. Haruki, Murakami, Norwegian Wood. Let's see if we get other people to join. Um, the cool thing about this book club is I have to like read this, or sometimes I'll be at work and like breaks and stuff reading, and people are like, "What are you reading?" And people think I'm real smart because I read books. Um, Anything else that stuck out to you guys? The hospital scene with the father really stuck out to me. That was pretty cool. It was a feel-good moment, wholesome. The fact that he was pretty cool about that. Toru was proud of him for doing that. Oh, Norwegian Wood? Yeah. Um, how does that song go? Let me see. Let's see. Hey, in the spirit of the book, hold up. Let me see. My wife will probably get mad. Hold up. Because the kids are trying to go to sleep. Norwe. Dun, 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 dun. Yeah, that's how Norwegian Wood. Of course. Let's see. It's a key and E on the capo second fret. Uh-oh. Let's see. Or maybe I want to sound like Rico. I might do a better Midori impression. Oh, so is it? I don't know if y'all could hear that. I'm playing really softly because my kids are on the other side of this wall. But yeah. Is it? Oh. I don't know. Can y'all hear that? Oh, but I didn't play it in the right key. Let's see. Anyways, that's the melody. I once had a girl, or what should I say? She once had me. Oh no, can y'all hear that? I can't see y'all's comments. Let me see. I listened to it the first time for first book club discussion. Yeah, it's a good song. I don't know if y'all could hear it. Maybe one day whenever I could play a little bit louder. Um, oh, you hear it? Okay, cool. But yeah, how about this? I'll learn how to play it, and then I'll play it. Um, I'll play it next time for the end of the book. That's a cool little treat for the book club. Again, I'm gonna try to be like Raiko. I might sound like Midori, but you know what? It's what we get at the book club, right? Um, yeah. Seems like song is about loss and grief and solitude, kind of like the kind of like the woods of Omni Hotel. Yeah, I want Omni Hostel. I wonder if, because he said, so actually, hold up, let me see. Let me see if it's here. Okay, so did y'all read this part in the book? Did y'all have this one? And then this part, it's Murakami talking. He's like, I began writing this novel in Mykonos, Greece. Did y'all read that? I'll give y'all some time to respond. Because Murakami writes the the preface. Maybe I could read some of it to you guys. Because it talks about like how he came up with the name. And so I'll let y'all tell me if y'all want me to read it. I read it in mine, probably the same. Yeah, he was just talking about how they picked Norwegian wood. Um, I mean, did you read that part, the preface from Murakami? Let me see. But yeah, I think he said he almost picked, what was the name of the said the one I liked best was A Garden in the Rain, but that felt a little too subdued. All right, cool. Yeah. So that was a pretty cool story. You read it too, so I'm not gonna read it. But yeah, that was a pretty cool thing about how he usually writes titles and stuff like that, but how he had to do this one. All right, guys, it's late. Like I mentioned, my kids are trying to go to sleep next door, so I'm gonna jump off. Um, we're gonna be on time next time. I have plenty of time to read the rest of this book, and I'm gonna start tonight, so I'm not trying to hurry up and play catch up. So far so good. I like the book. I like the book. Be ready next time because I think Amina, you're gonna pick our next book, right? I'm gonna give both of you guys 2 points for being awesome, but then I'm gonna take 2 points away from you guys because I'm a little bit more awesome. So, and then give your 4 points total back to me, making me win today's game. So, guys, thank you so much. Stormtrooper will return. Fingers crossed. Yeah, he like went off. He got famous with Bitcoin, or he got rich off Bitcoin, which doesn't exist yet. But we're gonna believe that Stormtrooper went into the future, got hundreds of dollars with Bitcoin, and then now he's back. But yeah, I'll see you guys next week, same time, on time. I was late, so I'll take away 2 points, which then leaves me with 2 points still for the winner and a 2-day streak, guys. And then because Amina, I didn't give you any points last time, I'll give you 1 point, which will still leave you in second place, not the winner. And I'll give Lynn half a point because I don't want to leave you with 0. But I'll see you guys later. The points mean nothing, by the way. Peace out, y'all. I'll see you next time. Oh, we gotta turn this thing off.